Okay, let's talk about a social reflex that is way, way deeper than you might think. It's this: art of deflecting a compliment. We've all done it, we've all seen it, and today we're going to unpack the psychology behind why a simple thank you can feel, well, so incredibly complicated.
Does that sound familiar? I mean, of course it does. Someone tells you they loved your presentation, or your outfit's amazing, or that dinner you cooked was incredible, and before you can even really take it in, something like this just flies out of your mouth. You downplay it. You give the credit to someone else. You change the subject. For so many of us, it's this weird automatic response.
So, what is really going on here? Is this all just humility, or is there something much deeper at play? That's the big question we're diving into. And it turns out the answer has roots that go from ancient cultural norms all the way down into our own private internal beliefs. To get started, we've got to look outwards at the world around us, at culture. Because you see, in many parts of the world, accepting praise isn't just seen as polite. Actually, it can be a huge social mistake. It can send a signal that you think you're better than the group. So in a lot of collectivist cultures, the number one priority is the harmony of the group. The success of the we is just so much more important than the success of the I. What that means is individual praise can feel like this big, bright spotlight that separates you from everyone else. And that separation can feel pretty dangerous. Right, so accepting a compliment gracefully, it's not just a personal thing. It carries real social risk. You might come off as arrogant, it can make other people envious, and that can lead to a kind of social punishment. Being subtly left out, gossip, getting knocked down a peg. So deflecting praise becomes this survival skill to keep your place in the community. But here's where it gets really interesting. What happens when you perform this little act of deflection day after day, year after year? Well, that external social rule, it doesn't just stay outside. Over time, it starts to seep in. It becomes a part of you. And this is the huge psychological leap. You start out deflecting compliments as just a social strategy, right? You're just trying to manage how other people see you. But if you tell yourself and everyone else that your work is nothing special enough times, a part of your brain starts to actually believe it. The act, it becomes your reality. And this is the transformation that changes everything. It's not about what other people might think anymore. Now it's about what you think of yourself. Compliments start to feel genuinely uncomfortable because they clash with this new deep-down belief that you aren't actually worthy of them in the first place. This brings us to a really fascinating and, honestly, a deeply frustrating cultural trap. It's especially tough for high achievers who grow up in these kinds of environments. It is a classic catch-22, and it creates a ton of internal stress. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The very same culture that pushes you relentlessly to be excellent, to get the best grades, to land that amazing job, is also the culture that will punish you for simply acknowledging that success. You are raised to be a winner, but you have to act like you're not. And the modern-day result of this, it's crystal clear. This cultural paradox is basically a breeding ground for imposter syndrome. It's where those feelings of low self-worth really take root. You feel like a fraud because you've spent a lifetime perfecting the art of pushing away the very evidence of your own competence. You literally don't know how to own your own wins. So given all of this deep-seated cultural and psychological programming, what are we supposed to do? Well, the way forward might actually be found in a very, very small, but incredibly powerful act of rebellion against our own instincts. So what if the simple act of looking someone in the eye, smiling, and just saying, "Thank you, I really appreciate that," what if that wasn't just good manners, but a radical act of self-validation, a way to push back against that external social pressure and your own internal critic, all at once? It's a small step for sure, but it might just be the first one in learning how to finally and truly own your own success.